Now I'm going to get into the great tree of knowledge and the wisdom that has been denied us by someone who does not want us to have this knowledge. Who this someone is, I don't know. I wish I did. You know, John Lash, the great Nag Hammadi scholar, he says the Nag Hammadi texts, which were found 2,000 years ago in Egypt, or they were buried 2,000 years ago in Egypt and found in 1947. And what's great about the Nag Hammadi is they haven't been tainted by anyone. No pope, no politician, no historian has rewritten anything in there. So we're reading exactly what they wanted us to read 2,000 years ago. Okay? Nobody's got their meat on it. No spin. The Nag Hammadi says that about 1,600 years ago before them, or about 3,600 years ago, the earth was invaded by something called the Archons, which is close to the Anunnaki. And they don't say they're beings. They describe it more like a virus, an off-planet virus. And these Archons came, and what these Archons are is they do not possess the divine essence that we possess. And they're really jealous of us for that. And so they're creating a world, this is what the Nag Hammadi says, a simulated world all around us. It's all simulated. And what it is, it's trying to show that they can create everything that the God has created, the beautiful earth and the flowers and everything. They can do just as good a job as nature can do, only they do it fake. And the point of the Archons, according to Nag Hammadi, is to make you think that their reality is the reality, not the real reality. So I suspect that's who told us we can't have the fruit of the tree of knowledge. Because once you understand what is going on here, you can free yourself of the Archons. And I believe the Archons are here. And I believe they're everywhere. And I think they are a virus.
Atlantis, Mu, Arcadia, the Holy Grail, the Philosopher's Stone. They all share a similar fable of something lost sought to be regained. According to the ancient mystery religions, the Garden of Eden was not a physical location on Earth, but quite literally a spiritual dimension synonymous to the heavens above. Moreover, it was believed that the sacred stone responsible for the mysterious qualities to mind and matter also came from this enigmatic point in time and space. In Celtic mythology, an immortal named Arthur of Camelot will one day return at some future time from the Isle of Avalon. Avalon in Welsh means apple, giving rise to the false notion that the fruit from the forbidden tree of knowledge, which God forbid Adam and Eve to eat, was in fact an apple. In Greek mythology, Apollo is known as the god of knowledge and light, wisdom and divination, music and medicine, and even prophecy. In the Hellenistic period, he became known as the Titan, god of the sun. His twin sister Artemis was known as Selene, or the moon goddess. The Book of Acts mentions what the city of Ephesus believed to be the origin of Artemis. Quote, "And when the town clerk had quieted the crowd, he said, 'Men of Ephesus, who is there who does not know that the city of the Ephesians is temple keeper of the great Artemis, and of the sacred stone that fell from the sky?'" The Muslim Kaaba stone is yet another creation myth that mentions a sacred stone which fell from heaven to earth. The stone was thought to be a fragment of the first paradise. Islamic author Ibn Abbas states, quote, "Muhammad said, 'Indeed, the Islamic teaching of the origin of Adam say that the paradise in which he lived and was subsequently expelled was not even on the earth.'" According to historian Rundle Clark, the Egyptian creation myth mentions a stone that fell from heaven called the Benben stone. This stone was believed to bring the vital essence of life from what is called the Isle of Fire. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, believed to have been written by Thoth, the father of alchemy, tells of the place where the life essence of humanity originates, Neter Kurt, which means island or mountain of God. The mysterious regenerative qualities of the stone have also been long associated with the rising phoenix, which has its connections with the ancient city of Phoenicia, otherwise known as Sidon or Tyre. The city of Tyre is mentioned in the book of Isaiah, where the king of Tyre is overlaid with the description of Satan, who had fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. It is evident that with this brief survey of ancient creation myths, these occult traditions have forever been the common thread between the practices of esoteric spirituality like alchemy, Hermeticism, and Kabbalah, but also of the secret orders such as the Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and even the Illuminati. The late Christian prophecy author David Flynn summarized, quote, "The common thread within most ancient creation stories was the union of the celestial and terrestrial at a particular time of unparalleled upheaval and change. The marriage of heaven and earth gave birth to the worldwide legends of the gods who descended from the heavens."
Some pictures online, some, I guess you could call them Google aerial shots of what appeared to be a military base or some kind of Air Force base, military landing with runways and airstrips and whatnot. And at first I thought maybe it was just an entrance to a deep underground military base. But then doing some more research the other day into Aleister Crowley's disciple Jack Parsons, the founder of Jet Propulsion's laboratory, who we'll get back to in a second. After doing some research about that, I stumbled upon this picture, something called the Amalantrah Babylon Workings Ritual, basically where they create some kind of magic circle and they summon something or try to open a portal. Maybe there's some kind of blood sacrifice done on each one of these nodes. The hexagram of Rothschild Zionism is there. But Kaylee had found a bunch of pictures, and numbering amongst them was this one, amongst an old site that seems to have been blown over. But this picture here shows that the landmarks are in the exact same positioning, the exact same pattern as the one here taken doing Jack Parsons' ritual, even drawing an all-seeing eye in the center. So at first I thought maybe these were just entrance nodes. At first maybe I thought it was a test site, this was a radio tower, and that these were entrances. But now I think maybe different, you know? I knew it was something big, and I'm like, yeah, it could have been an Amalantrah OTO Babylon working ritual where they try to open the portal to let in the Whore of Babylon. And I'll even play that little video above. I'll even play this video right here quickly now, showing something I saw on the Rob Skiba YouTube page exposing this Jack Parsons guy.
Jack Parsons, who was a disciple of Crowley, and the founder of JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He's out there with Scientology guy L. Ron Hubbard in March of 1946 at a location that would later become known as Area 51. They're out there doing this Babylon working, which was part of Amalantrah working involving ceremonial sex magic.
During the 1930s and 1940s, the OTO Lodge in California was headed by a brilliant young rocket designer called Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons developed patented rocket technology, which is still in use by NASA to this day. NASA named a crater on the dark side of the moon in honor of Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons worked during the day to develop rocket propulsion systems which would serve NASA's space program, which was controlled by ex-Nazi SS officers such as Werner von Braun, who had been brought to the USA by the CIA's Project Paperclip. At night, Jack Parsons would hold sex magic rituals in his house in Pasadena and initiate fellow scientists at the Los Alamos Atomic Bomb Laboratory. Jack Parsons was fully aware of what his rocket designs would eventually be used for. Not far from Jack Parsons' rocket lab in Pasadena, Robert Oppenheimer was building the world's first atom bomb, which would be exploded at Los Alamos, near a place called the Road of Death, which lies on the 33rd degree parallel. once installed as the head of the OTO's American operation, Jack Parsons conducted a giant satanic ritual, aided by a fellow OTO member with the codename Freighter H. In 1948, Jack Parsons undertook one of the most dark rituals known to Kabbalists, the Babylon working. This ritual requires the initiate to visualize the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, with its 10 spheres and 22 connecting pathways. Between the top 3 spheres and the lower 7 spheres, there is the so-called abyss, the place where one's personality, possibly even one's sanity, is potentially destroyed. If the initiate successfully spans the abyss with personality intact, then he becomes a black brother of the Kabbalah, a black magician of the so-called left-hand path. In the tradition of Judaic mysticism, these black magicians are utter evil and are in themselves pestilence. This giant Babylon working ritual saw Parsons, aided by his magical protege, Freighter H, project their astral bodies into the dark abyss of Lucifer. Parsons took on the ancient Judaic teaching that Christ and his church were the enemy of civilization, and that they had to be destroyed. On a 40-day pilgrimage in the Mojave Desert, the place where Area 51 now resides, Parsons summoned forth Babylon, the Scarlet Woman, the whore of the apocalypse, the consort of the great beast, Satan 666. According to the mysterious Freighter H, during the ritual he saw Parsons rip a hole in space-time, and something evil flew in. So who was the mysterious Freighter H? None other than the author and inventor of the new cult religion of Scientology, Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. Former initiate of Aleister Crowley's OTO, Hubbard wrote a so-called sacred text called Dianetics, which now has an inspired following of evangelical millionaires in Hollywood.
Unlike Crowley, however, according to the story, they were not as adept at opening and closing portals. Crowley supposedly opened one, but he had the power to close them. Apparently, theirs opened, but they were not able to close it. And then we have the modern UFO, everything from Roswell forward, kicking into gear right after that. Now, this is 1947, 1948 time frame when you start talking about, Roswell and stuff like that.
So yeah, that being said, I don't know what Kaylee found or where it was. I think she said it was in Arizona someplace. But she had found a bunch of other pictures. The idea of it being an old abandoned Air Force base. Well, it makes me wonder if all these Air Force bases are actually on ley line nodes, and or if every single one this same ritual is done. It'd be kind of creepy to think that every military base after Operation Paperclip was somehow blessed by unholy magic, Satanists, high-level guys like Aleister Crowley, devotees, Jack Parson, L. Ron Hubbard, Michael Aquino, people like my grandpa. But yeah, like everything to do with the military and the Air Force, who knows? But like my little prayer here says, I pray in the mighty name of Yeshua Jesus Christ that all these Satanist power be broken and they find the rock bottom they deserve. As far as Jack Parsons, yeah, we're talking about the guy who founded Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He was in with L. Ron Hubbard. He was in with the founder of NASA, Wernher von Braun, Walt Disney, all part of the OTO, and Aleister Crowley himself. These are people who sacrifice children to Satan. Like, they're Sith Lords, proper Sith Lords. And yet on Netflix, there's a TV show glamorizing this guy as something cool, making him out to be like Tony Stark, Iron Man, a hip, real-life version. Like, when did this stuff start getting cool? But as far as back to this quick post here, I won't keep it very long, just a short video. As far as what really happened at Area 51, it might have been one of these rituals. And they might be everywhere. Like, they might be doing these all over the place, at all sorts of military bases, all across the world. But yeah, Google image for Aleister Crowley, Amalantrah workings, If you want to research into this, go right ahead. But there seems to be lots of satanic elements to the military, high-up guys. Even Bill Cooper said that every major general or high-up guy in a position of power in the military, in the Air Force, and in the Navy was a 32nd or 33rd degree Freemason like my grandpa. So, what really happened at Area 51? It's a good enough question. Not to mention, like I said before, Crowley, when he summoned that demon and drew a picture of it, it looked just like an alien gray. If I hadn't mentioned that before, it's interesting to say. But supposedly they enhanced or enlarged Crowley's portal, but they didn't have the power to close it. The idea that there's this tear in space-time and we can't close it, almost like a rip in the veil straight to hell. But who knows? I've never been to Area 51. If you go anywhere near it, they shoot you. If you think about it that way, if Satanists high up in the government want to do a ritual, where better to do it than a base or a military base where no one will ever be able to interrupt you because no one other than the high up guys in the military are allowed there. So whatever, food for thought. Like I says, anyway, do your own research. And I'll just say, peace out, baby.